Hey, what's going on, guys? Just got finished watching the Ryan Garcia. But first of all, I want to welcome you to J Street Sports, and tonight we're going to discuss the performance we just saw. Ryan Garcia might have been Ryan Garcia's best performance as a pro. Um, so I'm gonna have some guys come in, and we're gonna talk about this. Um, but overall was a decent card. Lamont Roach got a good win, but Ryan Garcia stole the night. So I'm going to talk to some guys to see if they feel that it was more of Fortuna being old or Ryan just giving a great performance. Um, it could be either one because, again, Ryan looked very well tonight. Um, he looked healthy tonight. Moving up to 140 might have been the best thing for him, although the competition at 140 is something different. But he is aiming for the Tank Davis fight, so we'll see. Could go back down to 35, um, but a great performance tonight. So I definitely give him his props. He used the jab well tonight. A couple times he was reaching. Um, But I mean, I guess him and Goosen is working out the kinks. Also, he got a habit of pulling his hand down when shots are coming at him. Real good offensively, but defensively, that's where he needs to work. Um, but other than that, he gave a good performance tonight. Um, so I'm gonna get some feedback and see how other fans and people thought about that particular fight. Um, Again, also Lamont Roach, um, DC guy, Capitol Heights, looked good tonight. I think that if he had started a little sooner, he quite possibly could have got this guy out of there tonight. Um, Sometimes I think fighters, they're worried about a guy countering them, but at the same time, tonight he had the advantages. He was hurting that guy to the body, and he figured out about round 4 or 5 that he could just go forward, um, and and win and walk him down and beat him up. So, and he did it real well. But again, he could have got the stoppage, but I mean, he advanced. He won a WBA title eliminator. So that means he should be next in line. I know at junior lightweight, so 130. I know that the fighters, Alvarado, and those guys are fighting on a PBC card coming up. So um, Lamont Roach looked ready, though. Looks ready. He actually looked better tonight than he did against Jamel Herring. Although Herring was definitely better than the guy that he fought tonight, but still, Lamont looked good tonight. Um, After about the third or fourth round, the guy that he was fighting was real tricky. He fought a tricky guy, but he got the job done, and that's all that matters when it come right down to it. You got to win, like old baseball saying, win and advance. And that's what he did. So it was a great win for him tonight. But the guy that stole the show tonight was Ryan Garcia. Like I say, best performance I've seen the guy as a pro. We definitely got to, talk about that. You know, we definitely going to have to talk about that because, again, I have been critical of Ryan. Been critical of different things that he done outside the ring mostly, but inside the ring in the Luke Campbell fight when he got dropped and he came back and he won the fight. But I was critical of him that night, um, you know. But tonight he came through. He was in shape. That was number one. The 140. This wasn't to me a case of a guy that couldn't make weight. at 35. This was a guy that was like, look, I'm going to come in healthy and I fight better. I've been off and I feel that I'm going to be fresher and better at 40. And that's what he did. You know, sometimes that's what fighters got to do. That's exactly what fighters got to do. They have to come in and come in where they're healthy at. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Had a little technical difficulties there. But again, man, sometimes that's the number one thing that a fighter needs to do is to come in healthy. It's not all about trying to stay at a particular weight class. Just come in at what you feel comfortable with. And from there, you just let the chips fall where they may because you're going to eventually not perform like you want to if you continue to come in having to cut weight. Fight your natural weight. I think that guys want advantages, and so as they go and try to get these advantages, what happens is you deplete yourself. You end up depleting yourself trying to make weight. So if you naturally walk around at 160 pounds, 165, I mean, why try to make 135? I mean, just come in at your natural weight. Come in at 54. Come in at 47. And in this case with Ryan, he came in at 140, and he looked healthy and he looked good, and he did what he had to do tonight. So that's to me, that's the best thing to do as far as a fighter's career is to just do away with the weight classes. I mean, I can understand guys want to get in different weight classes, maybe because uh, you know they feel that they're going to have the advantage, and everybody wants an advantage. But sometimes the advantage is not the um, advantage that you think you have. you know, honestly. Let me see. He said that link isn't working. Let me see. J. That's the right link. Let me tell him to go. Yeah. Not for sure why that link wouldn't be working. Let him go there, try it. But yeah, back to Ryan. I think again, that's just the best way to do your career, man. You got to come in feeling at your best, 100%. Because when them lights come on, man, you got to be able to perform. And also, not only with performing, I mean, at your best, you also financial, all those things happen. Let me add my buddy here. Checkmate. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, Jules? How's it feeling, my brother?
Hey, feeling good, man. And this your first time on my show, man. Welcome, brother. Been looking forward to you
I
coming on,
missed the
man.
other. Yeah, I missed the other two. But I'm here, brother. I actually I fell asleep during the fight.
This fight here?
Yeah,
Okay.
buddy. So
Hey,
I
it's
we
all
we
good. Well, what
yeah.
did you see?
Well, I saw the first round, and I woke up. I saw the last two rounds. So I just yeah.
Okay,
But what
well,
I did see, what I saw
yeah,
was Fortuna wasn't throwing them hands. He was just like, he normally I guess he's an active guy, right? And
true.
I didn't see any of that activity at all. Um,
What's going on, fellas?
what's
Hey, how
going
you
on, June
doing, Jim
Bug?
Bug?
Man, I'm hanging, man. I'm rough, but I'm hanging.
Yeah, man, we just sitting up here just shooting on. Checkmate was telling what he thought about the performance from Ryan, man, and
Uh,
yeah, go ahead.
like I said, when Fortuna did engage, he was having some success whenever he pressed the issue. Um, he got in trouble laying on the ropes and allowing Ryan to tee off. But whenever he
Right,
engaged, Ryan never engaged with him. Ryan,
right.
whenever he pressed the offensive, Ryan was always defensive, and Fortuna had some success. So I don't understand why he would just stay on the ropes and high guard when he has that small of a frame. You know?
I got a theory on that. Um, Fortuna wasn't in the greatest of shape. All right.
Yeah, because he couldn't make 35. Right? He couldn't make weight.
Yeah, and not just that. I think that Ryan also was very comfortable with coming in at 140, and I'm telling you, man, I don't think Fortuna was in great shape, but that was still Ryan's best performance offensively. But like you said, man, defensively, I seen like when a guy punches with him, like you say, he stopped punching. But something more dangerous than not punching he does is he drops his hand. And he got this thing about swinging with his eyes closed on. But the guy he had in front of him tonight couldn't do nothing back. But what y'all see? Did y'all see that too?
Well, man,
I,
I caught. Uh,
I go ahead, Jimbo.
I mean, I ain't got much to say on that because, like I said, man, I've been taking this pain medication from this surgery, so I caught the end tail of it, man. So I didn't get a chance to just watch it, but I just seen little clips and things like that. So, but from what I've been hearing, what y'all said is I did see where Fortuna said that he was a little bit out of shape. He got a last minute notice and things like that. So when I started hearing stuff like that, I kind of had the feeling that okay, you know, this wasn't gonna be one of his best performances, even if he did was able to pull it off. So, you know,
And sometimes when I hear fighters say that, and Fortuna is an older fighter, so a guy like him definitely wants a payday. All right, and this is a good payday. Also, a lot of people. This is something me and Checkmate definitely talk about. A lot of people don't uh, think that. Um, Al Heyman will allow fighters to come in and fight on different networks and stuff like that. Well, Fortuna done fought twice over there at on the zone against a Golden Boy fighter or Eddie Hearn fighter. So they have no problems, and especially when they don't have dates for the guy. I think that's another thing that plays the part in that. But Sampson definitely signed him up, and like I say, it was one of Ryan's best nights, one of Fortuna's worst nights, and that's what happened.
yeah, he didn't want no more
Yeah,
because I saw the clip at the end where if you looked at him on the stoppage, you saw him move his hand almost kind of like he was signaling his corner, like, hey, y'all go ahead on throw the towel in. That's that posture and stuff showed me like he was like, I ain't want no more.
Uh-huh.
hey,
Well,
baby
welcome,
bird,
baby Bird.
Hey,
What's
how
Is
you
going on?
doing? How
What's
you
going
doing?
on?
what's
aka
going on?
Mango Mommy.
That's what I was just about to say. She finally through vacation and join in, ain't
Well,
it?
no,
Right.
I haven't started vacation yet. I'm taking my vacation in like the second week of August, I think.
Okay.
So I've been working, but this is my like overtime like crazy. But this is my first weekend off that I took because I needed it because I was getting burnt out. It was like almost two
Right.
months, two
Okay.
months like this working like that. So.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well,
Everybody need a
I say
break.
this. I'll
Go
say
ahead,
a
check.
positive, a positive. But that was pretty doing it. How he was steady with the jab, but he wasn't
Check. Hold
aggressive.
on. Check. We missed the first part of what you said. We just picked you up when you said the jab.
Okay, how about now? Is it better now?
Yeah, I got it. I got you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like I said, a positive is his jab was really good tonight. but he didn't really. I didn't see him really go aggressive with it. He was just doing the 1-2, almost like he was emulating Devin, the way Devin fought the Cambosos. You know what I mean? He would just stand on the outside,
Yeah.
but I did not see an attack. And like I said, uh, Fundora was there. Well, I said Fundora. I mean, Fortuna was there to be picked off. He, you know what I mean? Like I was disappointed that the
Mhm.
fact that he wasn't aggressive. Now I know you saying yeah, he's older, he got the last minute replacement, but if you're gonna
Mhm.
go out fighting. Because like I said, when he pressed the issue, he had success. When he just laid in the high guard, that's when he got tagged. So
I
I
am gonna
wasn't.
give Ryan a little bit to add this while you going on check. I'm gonna give Ryan just a little bit of credit for Fortuna not being able to go all out because one thing, and maybe it was the Joe Goosen effect, but the one thing that Ryan did well was he used his length and distance on Fortuna, so he didn't allow Fortuna to really get close to him. Because I seen a couple times he picked them off from afar. Go ahead, Chet.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what I was saying. That's why I gave him credit for the jab as well.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Tank sleeps him. That's
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
no doubts
I agree.
that Tank sleeps him.
Yeah,
Just the
I
way
agree.
the little instance. I don't even know if Fortuna even threw um 10 punches around. But the
Mm-hmm.
little success he did have, like I said, those openings, Ryan, I mean, he didn't even move his head. You think someone that small, he's going to move his head, give him angles, but his head was sitting there for the jab. Like I'm like, dude, are we in a fight or are you just posing? So
Mm-hmm.
what do you think, baby bird?
Well, I am happy for Ryan because unlike other people, I've always campaigned for Ryan. And I hate
Mm-hmm.
when people were jumping on him about his mental thing. I'm just like these things are real. Things happen to. We're all human. Like just because he's an athlete doesn't mean that he doesn't go through like mental things like the rest of us humans. So I was happy to see him perform the way he did. He looked really good. His jab was like he had his hands were quick tonight. His jab was there, and I noticed another thing. Like he didn't have his defense down like he usually does. He didn't leave himself open like he normally does. So I guess that's one of the things they're improving on. So I was entertained by his performance, and I'm happy that he won. So
Yeah, I said before y'all came on the show, I felt like that was his best fight offensively that I ever seen him fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about against competition.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Not
I
just
agree.
against somebody that's ready to lay down. So that was one of his best performances. Um, when he got Fortuna hurt, Fortuna did land a good right hook on him at the end, and then Fortuna stopped. Uh, but yeah, he got a couple things still to work on. But the Tank Davis, whatever way Ryan Garcia go, I think 140 is his weight class. He
That's what I was about
looks
to ask.
he looked better. He looked natural. And man, sometimes if he gonna fight at 35, I would advise him to do the Devin Haney fight over the Tank Davis fight. Ryan doesn't need to fight punchers. That would be his downfall. In my opinion, he has a better chance if it's a battle of jabs than somebody throwing fire at him. What y'all think? What you think, baby bird? First.
um, uh, I don't know. I feel like I mean I agree with what you said.
Mhm.
But so are you asking? Is the question would he be a better fighter, like a better
Would
fighter
a
against
Devin Haney
Devin
fight be
Haney
a
or
better
Tank
or Tank Davis? I
for
say
him? For him,
Devin Haney. Yes, for Ryan.
I think Devin Haney would be. Yeah, totally. For Tank, you know, even though I hate to give him so much praise, I think that he would knock him out. That little man is like a little Tyson. He's big
Yeah,
and he will catch him with one. I don't. I think that he won't be as active, like just kind of like the Rolly fight. I don't think Tank
right.
is like a high punch volume fighter, but the punches that need to do damage, they do, and so that's he really needs to do because that's what's been working for him, to be honest. But you kind of, I don't know if Tank should kind of switch it up, because that style of fighting always seems to catch up with fighters.
Right.
Trying to be that knockout artist.
Right. They don't
But
last long.
they don't. So but definitely the better fight for Ryan would be Devin Haney, and
Look,
I would love to see that next. I want to see
Junebug,
that first
before
before
you,
he fights Tank.
Junebug, before you jump in, I gotta say one thing about Rolly. Now, was Rolly a he looked like a Ryan Garcia groupie out there in the stands tonight. Did y'all see that? Or was I the only one that saw that? When Ryan was coming out to the ring, Rolly was right there, and Rolly walked from his ringside seat all the way to the back. He dapped Ryan up, and then he started cheering, like throwing his hands up and stuff. I mean, he looked like he wasn't a fighter. He was a straight fan tonight. I mean, I don't
Well,
know if I was the only one that saw that.
yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
I missed all of
alliances
that.
sometimes because Ryan did the same thing during Rolling fight. Hell, he lost $20 from the guy, or
Yeah,
25,
I guess
20 grand.
yeah, Rolly Owen. Then you right. I forgot all about that with him and
But
Spence. Yeah,
it's be alliances. But but
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go
What you
against the
think?
grain. I'm actually go against the grain, and
Okay.
this gonna sound kind of confusing. This will make you think I'm high, but
Are you right?
yeah, look, hey, look, I just had surgery on my shoulder, so I am a little, but
Well, speedy
Gotcha.
recovery for you.
well,
Yeah,
appreciate that. But I'm
yeah.
actually the reason why, because Ryan, everybody knows he has quick hands. He got good length, so
Uh huh.
I think a I think a fight. Don't get me wrong, Tank is the better fighter than Devin to me,
Hmm.
right? But if
Okay.
I'm talking about Ryan Garcia in that fight, there isn't when you use length and speed, which both of them kind of is. That's almost kind of like a boring fight. But if Ryan could stay on the outside, use Tank aggressiveness and his short limbs against him, I could see
Hmm.
Ryan if he's smart now. If he just plays himself smart, I could see him winning a fight against Tank just basically about outpoint him and just using that jab and that speed of that jab to keep that power off of him, me
Okay.
personally.
Okay.
So, but against a guy like Devin, he's probably not going to length or speed against Devin. So now that becomes almost like a boring shootout, if you if you say, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like none of them got no pop. But I actually think he may have a little bit more pop than Devin. He might.
Yeah, I think Ron's a little better puncher. Yeah, than Devin.
Yeah. So, but
Devin the
I
better
think
boxer. Hmm.
nah, but he couldn't go to sleep against Tank. I mean, that's a fight that he would have to wake up for and stay woke the whole fight and keep his eyes bugged. But with his speed and that length and stuff like that, and using the jab and things like that, he may be able to keep Tank off of him. He gonna have to force Tank to come in with his head down and get a little bit more aggressive.
Okay. Do you think he can beat? Do you think he can beat Tank then?
If I'm putting money on it, because he'll have to do something I don't believe he could do mentally.
Hmm.
But on a skill wise standpoint, if you can promise me that he would come in focused, just put all the social media away and just honestly came locked in like a dog, I would say yeah, because I believe he could win that fight like that. But
Okay.
I don't think he has the mentality to do
Hmm.
it.
You don't think he can stay focused?
I don't think
Okay.
he can stay focused. That kind of fight there, you need that. You need that almost that Mamba mentality, that Floyd Mayweather mentality to just stay locked in that whole
Hmm.
fight like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't
Hmm.
get up on Tank and stuff like that and be winning and be like, okay, I'd have got a little loose now and dive in there and end up on the ground like rolling. Because let's be honest with you, stuff like that. Because no matter, depending on who you is, you either had roll it up or either had it tied. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Gotcha.
rolling. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was like, roller shouldn't even been in the ring with Tank.
Uh-huh.
But
Right.
you know
I,
what I'm
I
saying?
I agree with that. Definitely.
So, but you look at it. So that's the way I look at it on that part.
Okay. What you think, Check?
Um,
The better matchup for Ryan is it against Devin or Tank Davis?
the safest matchup. Look at Baby Bird. Look at it. She
Cause
knows
she,
it.
cause
He gonna say
she
tank. He gonna
Tank.
say.
You
Look
know
at
what
her.
I'm
Look
saying?
at it. Look at it. Listen. The safe route would be Devin. Obviously, but you
Hmm.
know what? Everyone look at Tank because he's 5'5", right? They look at, oh, he's an easy mark. You know, Ryan is 5'10". Devin is actually 5'10". He's grown.
Mhm.
Um, you know, but what we saw with how he was able to, get around Barrios, who had a decent jab. Barrios can box. I don't care what anybody say about Barrios. He's a good boxer. You know, the guy. You know, guys. He just don't have that. I don't see that dog in him, but he's a good
Hmm.
boxer.
Mhm.
With Tank, I know Baby Bird, saying, oh, he's just a knockout artist. When I look at Tank, I don't see what you guys see. I see an elite boxer, what you would call a boxer puncher. Elite boxer, absolutely, with the movements. Look at what he did with Cruz with one hand for the last 6 rounds. And even when you looked at
Mhm.
him in the 12th round, the way he was moving around, potting him, was the first round, and he made him look like a fool in the 12th round. One hand. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, Ryan is not aggressive, and Ryan coming, again, Rolly, it was a completely different type of fight. Rolly is the bigger, brolic, looked like he was on them roids. You know what I'm saying? He looked like he was on something. That's all I'm saying. That. But there's obviously a huge size advantage between Rolly and Tank, and Tank played it perfectly. One shot, one kill. You know what I'm saying? So and we knew Rolly was going to come forward. And you guys, people said, "Oh, Rolly did great. Rolly landed 22 punches." Okay, let's
I,
not
I,
get beside our.
I agree. You check. You know how I felt about that fight. I felt that Tank was just went in there and destroyed him, and I knew that Rolly. And that's another thing. Um, you know, Rolly. I like Rolly because of for a guy with really no boxing experience to come right in and even be able to stay in the ring 3-4 rounds with Tank Davis is a feat in itself. But let's not get it twisted. Um, he can't fight, but he can punch, but he can't fight. So if the Frank fight happens, expect him to come and get another knockout loss. You know what I'm saying? If he have to fight Frank Martin, which we know that fight been discussed, but look like Frank's gonna fight the guy from Mexicali, Chris Colbert. Guadalajara, Chris Colbert.
He's
Yeah, so
from Guadalajara, Brooklyn.
That
yeah.
fucking asshole.
Little Guadalajara, right,
Yeah,
right.
Gonna get that color knocked out his
Guadalajara,
hair.
Brooklyn.
I can't wait. I want to see that fight, man. Like
Yeah,
I said this to Nika. We need more Chris Colberts in boxing, man, because Chris
Yep.
Colbert is a fun guy. You know what I'm saying? And he a guy that just go against the grain. You know what I'm
A
saying?
villain.
A villain, yes, he is definitely a villain. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he is a villain because
no,
I and he's doing a good
his
job at
personality
it
is
because I
off-putting
cannot
for me.
stand
Right,
him.
Hmm.
definitely. Definitely. So also let's touch on Lamont Roach fight. Did everyone see it first of all?
I didn't see
Yeah,
it. I,
I do.
I was
You
knocked
see what?
You,
out. I ain't see
you were knocked out? Okay. So Nika, I'll
You see what?
start. I'll start on that particular
Did
fight.
everyone see what?
I, the
Wait.
Lamont Roach
Did everybody see what?
checkmate having technical difficulties, but Junebug and Nika, I will start on that particular fight. I felt that Lamont did good. He won. It was a title eliminator. I felt like he could have started sooner in that fight because he pretty much bullied this guy, and he almost got the guy to quit, almost knocked him out in 1 round, and it was just a good ho hum 12-round decision. Lamont did good. He won, and I guess it's time for him to move on. He looked better in this fight than did against Jamel Herring, although Jamel was better than this guy, of course. But what did you think, Nika?
I thought he did good. To be honest, I was not. It was a little bit of a snoozer for me.
Yeah,
just being honest.
yeah, that's true.
I
I
was by
agree.
myself, like I was like on my phone, like looking through YouTube videos and stuff like that.
Right, right.
Because I already knew that he was gonna win because I could just see like where the fight was going.
Mhm.
And then I saw when I did look at the screen for a second, I saw him on the ground, but then it was like a low blow. So I thought maybe
Oh
the guy
yeah, it
had
was a
knocked him out. But
massive
then it was
low
like,
blow
no,
too.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I mean, he looked good, but this was this a title later?
it's a WBA title eliminator.
Yeah, I feel
I
like
think it's for the guy that beat Chris Colbert.
okay. But like you was
Mhm.
remember we were talking about it the other day. Like we didn't know this fight was going on, and I felt like they
Didn't,
treated
not
the
at
fight
all.
just like
Right,
like it was like it was promoted. Like
right.
it was nobody really promoted it, and
Nobody.
that's the way the fight was fought. So
Wait, what fight we discussing?
We're
the
discussing the Lamont Roach
Mount
fight.
Roach.
Yeah, he
Oh, okay.
won tonight.
Yeah, I
But
didn't.
let me say this about Golden Boy. I felt that Golden Boy did a great job of selling Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. They did a great job of selling that. I mean, ain't no
They did.
question. All right. Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia is gonna be a blockbuster because we done started the hype weeks ago. But as far as Ryan Garcia versus Fortuna and the Lamont Roach fight and Roca and all those guys, they did a poor job on that. But they did an awesome job. They did an awesome job. Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. And yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all that's one of my pet peeve about promoters. I think that promoters can be something awesome in boxing, and they also can be lazy, man, just straight lazy. You know what I'm saying? And they were more pushing Tank Davis fight than they were anybody else. Like that was the whole conversation was Tank Davis. I almost thought Tank Davis was fighting Ryan tonight. You know what I'm saying? So I
And
mean,
then
yeah, what
and
do
then
y'all
Tank
think?
Tank come out. I saw he posted somebody. He'll see us in the fall. So
He
Yeah,
said
There
he'll
you
see
go.
he said you'll see me the end of the year is what he said.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So I was waiting for him to tweet because I know he was going to. I know he wasn't gonna just leave the night
Right.
quiet like that. So
Even though it ain't gonna be against Ryan Garcia, it's probably gonna be against you know Jamal Jones or something like that. Ja-
Well,
Jackson,
if
Mississippi.
it's
because
against Jamal Jones, that's
he
gonna be a
didn't
good fight.
specifically say Ryan Garcia. He just said see y'all at the end
Yeah,
of
I
the
know.
year. So he left
Okay.
that open to be against anybody, to be honest.
Right,
So
Yeah,
right, right.
and and Leonard said that 135 still run through him. So but yeah, so
I
but
mean, I like I said, man, Tank Davis, super talent,
talented.
super talent, man. Um, I think that he's a better promoter of himself as far as what he do on the social media side than Leonard Ellaby. I'm gonna give him his credit. Every time you put a microphone in his face, I don't care who the fighters are, he gonna say something about Tank Davis, and he talks very well about Tank Davis. Floyd, as the promoter, though, don't do as much or nothing as much about necessarily the Tank Davis. And I guess, and at first I used to blame him for that, but now that I look at it, maybe that's Leonard's job to do. You know what I'm saying? Because Floyd, he wasn't even at the last fight, right? So,
Well, well,
so
hold on, Julie. Let me
yeah,
ask you
go
two
ahead.
questions.
Yes.
Two questions. Who is Leonard other top fighter?
Hey, well, uh, They got a lot of up and coming young guys,
No,
man. They got
that's
that's
just
up
like
and coming.
Rolly,
You
rolly.
know what I'm saying?
That's just like me. If I got one good
Yeah.
move in the bedroom, that's the move I want to go to from the head start. So if you ain't got nothing but one good fighter, of course you gonna mention them 24/7.
Yeah.
Okay. Second of all, that is Floyd's job, man, because at one point, like saying, don't get me wrong, I'm one of the biggest Floyd advocates. I think the man was probably the second best all time. That's just how high I am on Floyd. But
Mhm.
you can't say when it's time for you to get praise and stuff like that. Tank, he's on the way Mayweather promotion and stuff like this. I got Tank and stuff like that. And then I say it's his job, man. I think everybody know what it is when it comes to Floyd and promoting them and things like that. So that's part of Floyd's job too, because Floyd
Right.
know how to mention his name when it comes to success.
That's
When Tank does something, if Tank will get undisputed, I bet you Floyd's gonna mention his name and start promoting and say that he's done something that I have done, a lot of the other greats have done, and things like that. I just did it with one hand when I was three, though. But Tank is a great fighter. but
right, right.
it's Floyd's job too. But I just what I wanted to ask me.
I got you. That was a good
That was
question,
a
though.
good question.
That was a good question, man. And shout out to Richardson, man. Richardson Hitchison, who just left Mayweather Promotions. You know, props to him, man. I hope for the best because look, the 140-pound division, I mean, it's hot, man. It's on fire. And I can understand why Ryan and some of those guys are trying to squeeze and what's the waistband that the women be wearing? I forgot
The
the name.
waist trainer.
The waist
Yeah, weight
trainer.
trainers. Maybe they wearing those weight trainers. Guys sitting in saunas because they don't want to. They want to squeeze the 35. They like, man, I don't want that smoke at 40. But so you know what I'm saying. So a lot of that is going on, and I understand it. I understand it. But Richardson can fight, man. So we go. You know, hopefully he'll get some opportunities because I think that part of the reason I don't want to 100% say it. This is a speculation, but I think part of it had to do with because I think I seen him tweet before that hey, y'all do a great job with Tank, but y'all got other fighters too. I'm one of them. So I felt that was in his mind when he said when him and his manager decided to go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And also, let me say this, man. When you have Al Heyman, a lot of times you don't necessarily need a promoter. You know, because that's your de facto promoter and everything. You know, what you think,
Yeah,
Check? I see you came back in.
yeah. I'm trying to see where everything is clear now. What I left out?
Okay. Oh, okay. We were just talking about promoters about how Oscar did a great job of promoting Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia and not necessarily
Oh,
Ryan and his fighters. And we were saying how promoters have gotten lazy and then just we started discussing Richardson Hitchison going up,
yeah,
leaving
yeah.
the promotion and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, when it comes to Oscar, I think he
Mhm.
was a great fighter. He fought everybody. Win, lose, or
Yes.
draw. Can't take nothing. He was an excellent, a hell of a fight. He will fight anyone. But
Yes.
when it comes to promoting, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. If you look at Golden Boy cards, they are the weakest cards.
Mm. You think
Um,
you think Eddie Hearn got him beat?
well, they run it neck and neck. They
Okay,
run it
hey,
neck and
there
neck.
you go.
Oh
Okay,
But
all
man.
right.
but when you look at these, when you look at these Golden Boy cards, you're thinking, okay, what's going to draw me in besides the main event, right? And I couldn't find anything. You guys were talking about the Roach fight, but
Right.
again, it was, so like you said, no one promoted it, no one talked about it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
There was nothing, to really build up. Now I could tell you now, I could be honest with you now. The Tank bowling card, that was an trash ass card. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm
Mhm.
used. It was like a patchwork. They just throw anybody. Sometimes things need to be cohesive. Things need to be say, okay, this is a guy who want to
Facts.
come up. This may be a future opponent. We need to see
Mm-hmm.
him on the card. Make him the
Mm-hmm.
co-main.
Mm-hmm.
Build some drama around it. You just
Mm-hmm.
can't keep throwing these fighters nobody knows anybody about with no backstory. So that goes to Floyd. That goes to Eddie. That goes to Oscar as well. And I
No,
think that's been happening a lot lately.
I've
Go,
always
go ahead.
What was
thrown
that
that
big
out
word?
there that I don't think that Mayweather does a great job of promoting any of his fighters but Tank. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't really name anybody else that's under his promotion banner because they don't put no effort into promoting them at all. And when he does promote Tank, he always kind of promotes himself more than anything.
There ain't no
So,
counter he does.
and it's like I could see a lot of these fighters of his. I think that they left him and went to like when what was that damn platform Trilla. Like a lot of them started fighting under those banners because they weren't getting any fights under the Mayweather banner and they weren't getting promoted, so they started making money where they could. So
Yeah.
and I
Think.
don't even know if he even
Yeah.
has to do that much work with Tank because Tank kind of sells himself.
Right.
Yeah,
So
he's yeah. Tank is very big in the urban community.
yeah,
You
so
know what I'm
he
saying?
Yep.
doesn't
So
even have to
Yep.
do much. It's really Tank selling himself. So I don't, Mayweather is a great fighter, but he
not
at that promoter stuff, he does not promote his fighters on under his banner at all. To me, in my
What?
opinion.
Well, also, I'm gonna give Mayweather some props on this one fighter. He moved Badu Jack. He did a great job with Badu Jack because they resurrected Badu Jack after he lost his undefeated record to the journeyman from North Carolina, man. Knocked him out in the first round on Showtime. And from that, he ended up getting the big fights against Adonis Stevenson. I mean, fights that went back and forth, real wars. Did a great job. The man won world title, I think, at 68 when he beat Darrell, and then he won it again at 75 when he beat the guy from England. Although, we all know how that goes as far as beating a guy from England to win a world title. But he did. And so he resurrected that career, but I tend to agree with y'all that he kind of drops the ball though as far as other talent,
yeah.
you
And
know,
even then, you say he
outside of it.
resurrected. That means that man had something before he got them when you resurrected. So, you know
Yeah,
what
he
I'm saying?
had something I think Badu Jack did. He just, Badu was an Olympian out of Sweden. I think a lot of people forgot that he could fight a little bit. He just
Right.
had a drawback,
But
that
I'm a
loss.
I'm gonna say this though, not for this is not an excuse for Floyd because like I said, I'm with everybody else when it comes to Floyd.
Okay, go
But
ahead.
with a lot of the other promoters, I'm gonna say this is just me personally. I think, man, everybody knows we not in that golden age of boxing no more, right? And I don't think we close to it. So if you look at it, how many promotion companies it is, what about 4 or 5?
Uh huh.
Okay. And then you think about the talent that's spread it around out there. Let's say, PBC looked
Right.
like they had the dogs at what 147 and 154, right?
Mm-hmm.
Top
Now
rank, like
40.
they yeah now 40. So when you
Mm-hmm.
spread those promotional companies around, even if you got a good young fighter, if he's not developed yet and stuff like that, it's hard to promote a fight when we're not in that golden age of boxing where you can say every promotional company had four for at least 5 to maybe 7 fighters and 135, 140,
Mm-hmm.
154. We in a dark time now when it comes to boxing. You know what I'm saying? Even casual fans, man, probably can't name you no more than 6 fans. Once you get past Wilder,
Mhm.
Spence, Bud, I'm just trying to think like a casual now. I don't want to name nobody that the average person may not know. Devin
That's
Haney, not Tank. Tank now, if you get anybody else and say don't name those, now name me 5 more, even black fighters, you finna get a lot of what's that dude named that so I
like
want them
But
to
tonight.
I don't really think that
Uh-huh.
that Crawford and Spence are casual fans. I don't think that
Mhm.
name is on the table for them. Tank, yes.
Well, they done
Because
got so big now that everybody like you got a person that
no,
start watching.
amongst the real boxing community, but I don't think like the casual like fan or anything. I don't really think that they're on the table like that. I think after the
They
fight happens, if it happens, then maybe it will. But I feel like Tank is definitely one of those names that are on this on the table for casual fans because he has, like you said, like the urban and the
hmm
the hip hop community, the urban community. Like he's in that. On the
Well,
shade room,
Yeah,
hmm
people want to know who he's
yeah.
well,
dating and stuff like that.
Well, I'm gonna say this one thing. I think that Spence and Bud has crossed over, and I'm gonna tell you this: the reason why Spence crossed over because of the rapper
yeah,
Yellow
B.
Greasy.
That's what I was just about to
Um,
say.
Also, him and
Maybe and
Bud
he's
had this
Texas.
thing going with the Breakfast Club. Remember, Bud Crawford did this interview that went viral, super viral, where him and
Mm-hmm.
Charlemagne the
Charmaine,
God got into it in
I haven't
regards
seen
to
that. See, I haven't
you know,
seen that. So now I'm gonna look it up since you said that. I've
yeah,
never
look
seen
it
it.
up because Charlemagne told Bud Crawford to his face in the interview, "Hey, Bud, Spence gonna beat you," and then they went back and forth.
Charlemagne's
that
not
was
even a boxing fan, so goodbye.
yeah. That's what that's what
Right, well, I'm just saying
Goodbye.
that
that's
kind
what
of
he
helped.
said. That's why I was just, and that was around the time where they met up and Earl had on the red
Yeah,
hoodie and Bud had on the black hoodie, and that's what I'm saying. So many people that like boxing have talked about Earl Spence and Bud fighting now that it has seeped over to the folks that just started watching boxing
right,
2 weeks ago. So now they like, man, I can't wait to see that Earl and
right,
Bud fight.
exactly.
And you
They
be like,
never seen fights, right?
and you be like, man, who would Bud last fought? And they be like, what's that boy name that Bud last fought? So
Right.
that's why. So that's why I say,
Spence fought the black dude with the Spanish girlfriend. I remember. I seen it. I seen it. They
yeah,
don't even
yeah,
know Ugas is
you
from. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
no, yeah, you can tell them, you can tell Earl fought Pernell Wilker. They be like, show did.
Yep. That's right. Yep.
Pernell Wilker. So
Yep.
that's
Now
why
they
I say,
remember the car accident. Like, look, listen, man. I'm gonna tell you something. That car accident was horrific. But remember on Fox, I remember Checkmate. I think me and you discussed this one time when Earl Spence first came back off of the with his first public appearance after the car accident, which was months later, and Brian Kenny had him on TV, on national TV, Fox, and was grilling him about the car accident, acting like he was a police officer. So, sometimes bad things can make you go viral. So also Bud Crawford and the girl at the City Trends fighting his wife. So it's a lot of things that can
Boy,
that
you pull that
the
one out the
casual
gutter.
look the casual boxer.
You pull that out the gutter.
But I'm only
he went,
look,
he
I'm
went
only
back.
saying
Somebody was fighting Bud wife. The
yeah,
first
but
one.
Yes.
see,
Oh
but
my god.
see, yeah, look, I
He
like
said, I
Bud,
didn't even
I
hear
like
about that.
Bud family and everybody. I'm only
But
using it. I'm
Julius
only
pulled that
using
one out
this.
the gutter.
Yeah, I'm only using this to say there are people that watch sports that are not fans. So when they saw that video, it made some people that I know personally say, "Man, I want to go see Bud fight now." Just based on
Mm,
that video. Look, man, we're in a crazy world now. You know what I'm
oh yeah.
saying? I'm just telling you, we're in a crazy world where people want to see things for the wildest of reasons, and it
hmm
has nothing to do with boxing.
And that's why I say now, like I say, on just on a talent standpoint, man. Now that's why I think I will get a promoters credit on that. That I think it's hard to promote certain fighters now, man, because even you got guys on some of these promotion companies that's 20-0, but they ain't worth shit. They just 20-0. They was fighting me, you, checkmate. I'm not trying to throw no shade, but the point is they got an O,
Right.
but that O don't represent how good they necessarily is. So I think that's promoters are having a hard time. You know what I'm saying? Because you know you think about it. Let's go back to Golden Boy, right? And let's say
Mm-hmm.
Golden Boy wanted to put on a card, right? Who's gonna be their
Okay.
headliner? Who's Gold Boy gonna headline next? If they was gonna hold a fight? Who they gonna headline in any division? Give me two. Give me two fights in two different divisions. Who they
I
gonna
can't
headline?
do it. I'm not even gonna try. I know I can't do it. I
And
can't
and
do it.
Hey,
They ain't got no fighters.
and,
Nah.
and, Eddie,
you,
Eddie Hearn ain't got nobody but Alicia Baumgarten. So,
hey,
you
Salute
know,
Alicia Baumgartner
and,
too
and,
in
and
that
salute
big
Jay.
fight that she got coming up on the undercard of
Yeah,
uh, Clarissa Shields and what's the
yeah.
girls Clarissa fighting?
Savannah Marshall.
Yeah,
Savannah
Savannah
Marshall.
Marshall. Yeah,
And
exactly.
and black
Go ahead.
boxing fans, don't
Yeah,
cut my throat. I wasn't trying to talk about Alicia Baumgarten. I'm just saying because they be coming at me
Yeah,
with this.
they
Well,
gonna come at you. They gonna
look at
come
this
hard
clown here.
too.
Look at this clown here.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
but I
she's.
want
All
listen
right, go
to
ahead. Mm-hmm.
no, no. I would no. Go ahead. You was going to say something about Alicia. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that Alicia is a good talent, and I know that I give it to Eddie Hearn based upon him putting on what I think have been weak cards since he said he was gonna take over America. But what he done with the in the women's game is pretty good. I'm not crazy about the girl from Australia though. Like all she's selling is a chest, man. You know what I'm saying?
TNA.
She can't fight, but
TNA.
yeah, she can't fight.
That's
But
not bad
Which
boxing to
Wait, who
got.
who can't fight?
what's the girl from Australia
Oh
name,
yeah,
man?
yeah,
With
yeah.
the
Yeah, that's all.
Ron
She gonna remain nameless because we already know
Ron
about it.
everybody thinks I'm a hater when I say that,
Yeah,
but
no, she can't fight. She
she did a
can't
great
fight.
job
you
marketing herself. I'll give
And
her
the
that.
crazy thing was, I saw her in a tweet one time compare herself.
She had the nerves to start like
Yeah,
critiquing amateurs and
yeah,
champions, and I'm like, girl,
yeah.
relax,
And
have a seat, don't start
and,
feeling yourself like that.
and not just that, she compared herself in one sentence to Floyd Mayweather and Muhammad Ali.
Mm.
I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? If I had something in my mouth, it would have been everywhere. I'd have spit all of it out. I mean, I'm just saying, man. I saw the girl. I probably saw 2 rounds of the girl fight. Her eye looked like somebody. It looked like bologna meat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was just like, come on, man. But hey, Eddie Hearn got to do what he got to do. But that is a good card that he's in conjunction with ESPN and whomever the other promoter is. I'm glad that they got together to help women's boxing out on that note.
and
You know what I'm
and
saying?
even with the men, that's probably one of the better cards that he can put on, even comparing the men
Yeah,
with whatever he got.
definitely. Definitely,
So,
because aren't we tired of seeing Sharosa versus Joseph Parker or
Chisora.
Dillian White versus Blue Smith? I mean, Liam Smith, Lim. Ain't we sick of it? We ain't
so
tired
Eddie
yet
is
of
the
that.
king. Listen, Eddie is
Chocolate
the king
Tito
of
versus
digging out.
Jose Navarro, the seventh edition of the fight. Like, come on, man. But go ahead, Chet.
Yeah, Eddie is the king of digging somebody out of the grave. Oh, he got 12 losses. He got 13 losses, but he's a hella. He's going to barnstorm it. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Right.
want to see Wilder versus Chisora. I don't
No.
listen. That looked like Chisora versus who would he just Pete? Who was this guy? Just the woman beater. He just fought.
Oh,
Um,
Pulev.
Pulev. That looked
Yeah.
like two geriatric fighters. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They look old and slow. I'm not interested in that. That's the
No, not at
British
all.
crowd. They have. Listen, listen. Ted Cheeseman is a hero to them. Listen, they have. Whatever they like, let them like.
Ted
Yeah,
Cheesehead.
yeah, but the thing about it is
Uh-huh.
Eddie tried to sneak a lot of these British fighters on these American guys. We don't want to see these guys. Like
Mm-mm.
if you don't have the goods, you don't have the goods. If you're a good fighter, I'm going to support you regardless. I like Conor Ben.
Okay.
A lot of people not high on Conor Ben. I don't
Mm-mm.
like the fact that he's going to be fighting a 168
One,
US Junior. He's going. Did you see the video?
156, right.
Did you see the video I made on that? Did
I
you see the
did
video?
not check.
I
Um,
said,
look,
but
hold on a second. I'm not as equipped like
no,
her.
I
I'm gonna have
bro, you
to
ain't got to show me
send
no.
it to my Twitter page and I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
But I'm glad you brought that up because hey man, we're gonna shift the conversation to that for a few minutes
yeah,
because
because
we talking about incompetence of a promoter, and I'm gonna let Checkmate after I say this. Check, you're gonna go first on that. How can you have a top prospect, your top prospect, in a division with Boots Ennis, Ortiz? You still got Keith Thurman around. You got Ugas. You got Spence. You got Bud Crawford. You got Yosito Lopez. You know, we go. You got Adrian Broner, Figueroa, and you move him up 2 weight classes to fight. Not Ben, but the other one. What's his name? Checkmate.
what you mean? Not
Who
Ben.
Conor Ben supposed to be fighting at a catch weight of 156, 157?
Um, what's this guy's name?
His dad was the fighter. You know what I'm saying? So it's Ben against
Eubank.
Eubanks.
Eubanks,
Okay,
Eubank.
yes, Eubanks.
so
Oh, that
you
was just
talking
behind me.
right? So you're talking about Eubanks moving down 2 or 3 pounds, a middleweight contender fighting a welterweight contender for what?
No,
What's
but
big
no,
about it? Go ahead, check.
but Eubank's been fighting at 168. You know what I'm
So it's
saying?
even crazier.
So
Yeah.
it's so ludicrous. It's like, look, I don't even use that word, but I had to break that word out for this one. This is ludicrous.
Right.
It just doesn't
Shout out to
make
Mike Tyson.
sense. It like
Mm-hmm.
you guy. Listen. I Conor Ben is my favorite UK fighter. That tells you a lot about the state of UK fighting because he barely out of prospect stage, right? So he's a
Right.
147 barely out of prospect stage, and you're gonna match him against a 168 guy. Listen, didn't Kell Brook learn his lesson with GGG
Ooh.
moving up multiple classes? Didn't
Another Eddie
didn't
Hearn
Amir Khan
situation.
didn't Amir Khan learn his lessons against Canelo? Like how
Another
many
Eddie Hearn.
ambulance you guys want to see these guys ride? It doesn't make sense. What it says to me is Eddie Hearn is just trying to milk these, but you're ruining your top guy because all it takes is one punch from the 168 6 foot Eubank against the little slightly built you know
Conor Ben.
Ben, on a
Yeah.
Ben. So yeah, so you got Virgil Ortiz, you got the Boots, you got and then he had Rashidi Ellis on the zone. Like, how you guys let that dude get away? He's a star. He has skill. Period. He's better than everybody on Matchroom. Period. How could you let him get away?
And, I mean,
So
and
this
he
is
was
me.
with Golden Boy.
Not focused on
Ellis
yeah, he
was
was on
fighting.
Golden Boy, but he
Right.
was on Golden Boy, but he still is his own fighter. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So
They
even
could have made the
so
fight.
even
Yeah.
if so even if he was leaving the zone or Golden Boy wasn't matching him up, just like he swooped in and got Canelo. When you see somebody with the goods, you got Ammo Williams and these other guys that you're trying to push that people like, man, Ellis is skillful. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's just sharp, brother. So anyway, he could have matched him up against Conor Ben, but what are you doing? You're doing a circus. You're doing a Jake Paul circus type show. You know what I mean? The
Mm.
little guy against the big guy. Listen, Eubanks doesn't have a belt. It's not going to go towards his 147 legacy. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So if he win, what does he win? Oh, he beat Eubanks. Okay, so
Yeah. So what? And also, it's a dangerous fight from the sense
yeah,
of
he could
Eubanks
get
can
hurt,
hurt,
man.
and he could get hurt. And Conor Ben is kind of like a guy that was really a beginner. You know what I'm saying? Like he really is behind a lot of guys as far as his progress as a fighter. He didn't have no kind of amateur career. You know what I'm saying? And they moving him soft and slow. You know, it's just facts,
Yep.
Ronnie. It's bad matchmaking. It's just bad promoting. But this guy has a history of it. And Nika, I don't know the young lady, but we know her. I don't want to say her name, but this is why when people hold those pom poms for certain guys, I have to question why.
Who?
You know what I'm
Who we
saying?
talking about? Who we talking about?
You don't want to
You
say her
know,
name. You know what
I
I'm
don't want
talking
to say her
about.
name. She come on your show. I'm talking about them
Oh, okay.
holding the pom poms, right?
Don't do my girl like that. Do not do my
I'm
girl
just
like
saying, I'm just using for a second. I'm just wondering, what do people, see in people like this? I mean, it's almost like Michael Jordan, a great basketball player, one of the greatest basketball player ever, probably, or the second greatest, whatever you want to put him, but one of the worst general manager and presidents in the history of sports, almost. Make terrible mistakes, draft too many guys from the UNC. So I'm just saying, so we got to be able to separate when these people are making these notorious sorry moves all the time. And that guy, Eddie Hearn, is used to making these bad decisions. Like, he didn't have to move up Triple G. Kale Brook to fight Triple G. Errol Spence was right there as his mandatory. So what he did was he got Kale Brook beat up, got his eye socket broke. He took a year off, came back, did Earl Spence, broke his other eye socket. The man was never the same. And at the end of his career, he was angry at Eddie Hearn, but he really should be angry at himself. And if Conor Ben get ruined in this fight, he can't be angry at Eddie Hearn's sorriness. He should be angry at himself because these guys sign with these incompetent promoters, and then when they move them in a terrible way and they get hurt, they blame them later.
I
That's
expect
true.
Conor Ben to lose. Now, listen, like I said, I like Conor Ben. I like the guy, but when I'm talking about, he's about what, 5'7". He's jumping
Right.
up against one a 6 foot a 6 foot 168 guy. I think they're talking about a catch weight at 156. Regardless of the case may be,
Right.
one guy is carrying his power down, which is an advantage, and he's got the height and reach advantage. And I just don't think. I think Conor Ben has more skill than him. You know what I mean? I think he has more. He more fast twitches and things of that nature. High energy guy. But when I'm just looking at the size, and I'm looking at the size, the way these British guys fight, they're going to shoot for the contact, and guess what? He's going to come out, and I feel bad for him because he don't deserve that. You know what I mean?
He don't have to take it either, check.
Listen, Eddie
That
Hearn, Eddie Hearn, to give him some props, he is the most talented mouthpiece in boxing. Okay,
Mhm.
just because he's the most talented mouthpiece in boxing doesn't mean he's doing the best for boxing or the best for his boxers. What he did for the boxing world and AJ by turning down, that the 50 million pay-per-view offer was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? Canelo comes second, turned down 50 million. But you know what I mean? But that was and then losing. both of them turned down big money and lost. You know what I mean? But so Eddie Hearn is more about promoting himself. He's a talented guy when he's talking mouthpiece. But when it comes to making those right decisions, you can see his top three breadwinners Canelo, AJ, and Dylan White. They all lost in a row consecutively. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's not like they lost in huge fights. Like for instance, Usyk. First of all, people really propping. Oh, Usyk he's pound for, but no, that wasn't a pound for pound performance. He gave Usyk the panda eyes. Okay, Usyk struggled, or whatever the case may be, just like he struggled in all of his heavyweight fights. AJ, if somebody told me AJ plan was to box Usyk, I would have put $1,000 down. If somebody said, "Hey, I'm going to boxing," yeah, I'm going to show my, you know,
Wow, I didn't know we had some British fans up here.
yeah, I'm going to show the pugilist and
Damn,
him. I'm
Checkmate
going
been
to
practicing.
around.
Damn, Checkmate been in the
Oh
middle
my
practicing.
god. Oh my
Spot
god.
of tea. Hey, spot of tea.
Right.
Listen, but
All right.
Damn,
my problem with that
I thought
is
Eddie was
Eddie.
staying on that Checkmate house.
Hey,
Oh
let
my
me
god.
tell you something. Eddie don't even he over here in America so much he don't even sound British no more. And listen, guys. Speaking of British guys, it's a picture floating around that was taken today or maybe yesterday or the day before of our heavyweight champion looking about 300 pounds outside of Dunkin' Donuts in England somewhere, man.
It wasn't Dunkin' Donuts. It was at some kind of store though, wasn't it?
I
It was
thought it
at
was Dunkin' Donuts.
You
I
might
could
be
be
wrong, but I
wrong.
seen he had on some shorts and had his shirt off though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, talking
That's
to,
normal for him. He's
yeah.
always
I mean,
in his underwear prancing around.
right, right.
That's what
Hey,
he does.
hey, look, I'm sitting there thinking to myself like, boy, he missing America bad. You know what I'm saying?
But
Uh,
he was already cashed out anyway. I mean, he have
yeah.
maybe 2 more fights in him at the most.
Yeah, but I
Maybe
think he wanted to live in America. Because if I'm not mistaken, him and his wife have got a home in Las Vegas. So I
okay.
think that he just wanted to live in America. I mean, look at Lennox Lewis. My boy Ray Jackson. Lennox Lewis, man. I mean, when his career over, he moved to Florida. So these guys when they come across that pond, a lot of times they don't go back across it. And I wonder if our man Ray Jackson got any breaking news.
Breaking news. He cuts his very
What's
loosely.
going on,
Yeah,
Ray? Hey,
He
Ray.
literally
Hey,
does
Ray.
that
Did you get
to
that
to
sunshine
bait
I sent
people.
you?
right.
Hey,
Yeah,
Ray. Did you get
definitely
that
shout out
sunshine
my
I sent
brother
you?
from Dallas. Huh?
I was saying, hey, Ray. Did you get that sunshine? I sent Ray some sunshine. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. All right.
A big girl summer. Yeah, I sent him that big girl summer video.
Hey,
Um,
Ray a trip, man. Ray like the black Quagmire of Twitter.
That's like
Yeah, man.
that's a perfect analysis.
Yeah, Ray's my man with that breaking news. He even got Bud Crawford to retweet him on some breaking news that he had. So that's beautiful. You know what I'm
he
saying? And
man, he
and,
literally
and, and Ray know I stand with him in that
got
fight with Caleb Plant. And
he got
I'm
Ronnie
hoping
Jackson too.
that
He got
Ray, I'm hoping that we gonna get Caleb Plant back in the ring and get him knocked out again, so we can both retweet his knockout loss. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
man. Ray got into it with
I know
Caleb
y'all
Plant,
hate
man.
Caleb Plant, but he got talent, man.
He
He
got
got
you,
talent.
Man,
you
get
know,
out of here. He ain't got
No,
no
no, hey,
talent.
I
hey,
don't
and
really
now
I
I'm
give
care.
him
with
a little bit of talent.
I'm with Checkmate on
Listen,
that,
I
man.
felt
Hey,
like I had him up. I had him winning against Canelo until he got knocked out. I had
Hmm.
him outboxing
No,
Canelo.
Yeah, I knew
I
that
never really
knockout
see
loss was
any.
coming.
I don't really ever see Julius say he don't like anybody except for Caleb Plant. So I know when
and
he
Bud.
sees Ray Jackson going
No,
in,
I like
Oh, you
every
say
And
time I
Caleb.
see
Calvin
That's
him
my boy,
Ford.
going
Ray.
in on Caleb Plant, I know that Julius is back there like, yeah, Ray, come on.
I had my pom poms and my soprano on.
Man, they got the argument big. I thought they were gonna meet at the 7-Eleven and start fighting, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he got real personal there with Ray, but Ray stood his ground on him, Florida style. He stood his ground, and
Yeah, man. But
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, Caleb, man, he do got talent. But after you said that in the ring, the Canelo, I'm pretty good, ain't it? That
Huh?
you lost.
Yeah.
You
Hey,
yeah. You can't.
hey,
You ain't got no other. You can't.
hey, Canelo, look good for 20-0, huh?
Man, look at me.
Hey, buddy, I sure am doing it. I
Listen,
tried the shoulder roll, but you kind of knocked me off there.
Yeah,
Nah, man.
he ain't believe it.
you know what's worse than
Even
that?
George.
You know what's worse than that? He was like,
Hmm?
"I'm sad." When he said he got, I'm sad. Like
Oh
what?
my
What the
god.
hell
I
he
can't
Yeah.
even
told
give
he
him a
told
leg to
Canelo,
stand on.
I'm
Like,
I'm sad. Like, dude, like I don't listen. I think I couldn't wrap my head with what I was witnessing. Like, you're a grown man. You don't go to a grown man who just beat your ass and go, I'm sad. You
But
know,
you see, it's funny to me. It's funny to me because I always try to explain to people, like, when somebody says, like, why you don't like Shakur Stevenson? Like, it's just, some people you just don't like. And I feel like Caleb Plant is like that for you, Julius. Like, you just
No,
don't
but
like,
it,
don't like
it
him.
was it was a couple things though he did. You know what I'm saying? It was a couple things he did, and also he brought that home in the Ray Jackson situation. You know what I'm saying? And stuff he was saying about how his woman is like the so-called perfect. It was just some couple things like that
So
that look, Nika, that we gonna have to do on another show, and I'll break all of that down. You know what I'm saying?
okay, okay, because Ray,
And trust me.
Julius, I was about to say something about to say, but if you want to do it on another show, but I was
Yeah,
gonna say
yeah,
this.
I'm gonna do it on another show
Okay,
because when we go there, we're gonna
okay,
go there,
go there.
and it's
Okay,
gonna
cause
be,
that.
you know what I'm saying,
Hey,
and it's gonna be some
hey,
brother talk and all
okay.
that. So you
Cause
know,
we about to go there because this medication I'm taking, hey, this medication,
yeah,
hey, say, hey, go there. Hey,
yeah. Hey, look, we don't need no medication talk, and
hey,
also,
I'm finna go there.
and also, you know, Caleb is from a place close to me and you, Junebug. You know, coming up, so we know the dynamics of, you know what I'm saying. So it's gonna be a good show too. We're gonna break that down close to his next fight, whenever that is, and hopefully it's against Anthony Durrell. You know what
Hey,
I'm saying?
we
I
was really
hope
on the
so.
same page with that though. I
Yeah,
swear we
we
was
on
on
the
the
same page.
same page with that.
Definitely. We're gonna definitely knock that out. Knock that out of the box. Also, man, want to touch now. The next fight that's coming up is Danny Garcia. So I'm just gonna touch a little bit on Danny with the fight coming up, because the only reason I'm touching a little bit on it is because a subject that I've been staying away from, that I'm gonna touch on a little bit right now, is the Spence Crawford. And I'm gonna do a Ray Jackson here, not make no breaking news, but a good opinion on it. I think that we might get the date on that particular show or around that weekend. I think that's what they waiting on, man, to start to kick this thing off, because we're getting close to spring training in football, training camp coming up, preseason games, Fox, CBS, all those things. And so I think that they're going to start to sell this fight around that time, man, because I see them guys ramping up even more. You know what I'm saying? As far as training and everything, Crawford and Spence, they look like they about ready to go ahead and start a training camp. And that's
Earl
my
growing the
opinion.
shag.
Huh?
Earl getting ready to grow the shag. Nickel. Grow
Yeah.
the shag, Nickel.
And, and look, I saw that someone sent him a picture of
One of those shags, those
yeah.
talent shags.
It was a
He was like,
bad
hell
shag.
no. He was like, hell no.
Nah, that was a bad shag. Check, are you up here now? Check. Okay, he switched off or something. Okay.
What you say, Jules?
Okay,
I couldn't
because
hear you.
now the other, your other one is still kind of up, so I didn't know. That's why I was just making sure that. All right, there we go. All right. No, we were just saying that. Well, I was saying that I think that the Danny Garcia fight is next. That's the next big fight that we got. And I said that I think that on that particular day, we may get some more news on Spence and Crawford. I think because training camp is starting in the NFL, CBS, Showtime, all that. He talking about the Shag. Look, let me say something about the Shag, Ray, because I think I'm by a couple years the oldest one on the panel. So let me say this: I used to have a Shag back in the day, man. and used to be all the old men used to wear the shag, but I just thought it was cool, man. Because the shag back then, and Junebug, you know what I'm talking about. Now the shag back then was you had a real short haircut, and then you had the hair going back in the back. You know what I'm saying? That was the thickest part of it. And then we used to want to do the rat tail, but the rat tail never really worked with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't get no, I won't grow no ponytail. But
You
shag,
had that elder barge hair too.
yeah. That what folks call that good hair. You know what I'm saying? And it usually look, brothers, my complexion usually didn't have that. We didn't have the elder barge thing going with, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, the rat tail. Yeah, Ronnie, I'm taking it old school now. Old rat tail. Check hat.
Dallas need to ditch that shag.
Huh?
Dallas need to ditch the shag for real.
I mean, the shag. I'll say this about the shag. The shag was 35, 40 years ago, and now it's coming back. I mean, the shag was then, man. All these, this stuff, man. I mean, I even saw a video from 1967 on Twitter where a guy was doing the Dougie. I mean, verbatim was doing the Dougie in 1967.
He originated it. The old stuff always come back. It always comes
always.
back. Always.
When does the Jerry curl? Can we get a Jerry curl resurgence?
I feel like
Man,
the Jerry curl
I can go down to South Carolina and my cousins. I'm sure a couple of them still got them.
I agree.
A lot of our uncles still got them with the beat or with the white beaters.
Yeah, they still got
juke
joints. Listen, they still got juke joints. When I go down to something tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they still a little back in time.
It used to. I mean, if any visitors from Greenville or Pitt County in North Carolina, when I say this name, they used to have one called Charlie Pitt. It was Charlie Pitt, but they call it Charlie Pitt, and that was the name of the juke joint there. And what Ronnie said, he just waited to pull out the old Cougar jacket when it. Right, and I'm ready to do my FUBU and all in cross colors.
Hey,
I mean, you could get away with that right now in Harlem.
Cross colors, okay.
All of that, the Coogee, cross.
Oh yeah,
you could walk through Harlem with that and be just fine.
Okay, walk through Harlem. Okay.
I'm gonna wear it to the Spence fight. I'm gonna wear some.
I remember when starter jackets was hot.
Oh man.
49er.
Woo. Starter jackets were on. I had a nice cold Florida Gator one, blue and orange. And I think everybody had Georgetown back in the day, even if you weren't a Georgetown fan, because Spike Lee.
Well, the Charlotte Hornets. It was the Charlotte Hornets.
That teal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hot. That was hot.
I had the Sixers.
Yeah, the Sixers. Yeah, definitely.
With the AIs,
Yeah,
the Sixers started with the shoes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I done made it from a boxing show to an old school show real quick. We got our shag, and thank you, Ray Jackson, about that shag, man. But so getting back to the Danny Garcia situation, man. Before that we get into Danny, what y'all think about that Keith Thurman news that came out today?
I didn't hear it.
Okay, Keith Thurman is thinking about moving up a weight class, 2 weight classes, to fight Laura at a catch weight.
I feel like Thurman doesn't have anything else to prove. He could do whatever he wants. He wants to do that, go right ahead,
You say he ain't got nothing else to prove? He ain't got
no, because
I
feel like his heart is not into boxing like that anymore, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I feel like whatever he does
is
just
that.
for the money. So
yeah,
I thought you were saying as though he already made it. Look, Mama, I made it type of thing, and I don't have
no. I feel like
I'm like,
I feel like he does. His heart is not into boxing anymore like that. So right now,
he's a family man now.
Yeah. So
yeah,
playing a flute.
Yeah.
With his baby that she white.
Right. Well, I would really like to see him before a fight his ring walk to sit on a rock and play the
That's
flute
flute.
before he walk out. I mean, that's beautiful, man. I want to see that. I
Oh my
mean,
god.
you know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
how
Like,
about how
yeah.
about carrying him on a magic carpet? How about carrying him on a
Hey,
magic carpet?
we've seen
Have
that
him sit
before.
Indian style. Look, have him sit Indian style while playing the flute on a magic carpet.
Well, maybe that because we seen the magic carpet with Prince Nassim Hamed. Shout out to Prince Nassim,
Yeah, not
another
Indian
guy that
style and
made
playing the flute.
boxing real fun.
Yeah, not Indian style and playing the flute. Oh, and not saying that's my favorite UK fighter of all time. Love that
Yeah,
guy.
I loved him. You know, he was a showman. But yeah, man. So he's thinking about maybe doing that, going up to fight Laura, and I think if he does that, I don't think he'll ever come back down to 47 because I think he'll have some success against Laura because Laura's not the same fighter he was. You know what I'm saying? Like 5, 6 years ago, he wouldn't dare say Laura name out of his mouth. But now, yeah, he probably could do that. He could
But
meet
you,
him at 55, one of
you know what?
Canelo weight classes, and win the fight.
But you think he'll do that? Because I
He's
think
running
too,
from
man.
Boots and Stanionis. That's what
That's
he's
what.
doing. He's running from Boots and Stanionis.
And,
He don't want no
Yeah.
parts of them. And
Yeah,
they're
I
calling
kind of
him out.
think, yeah. I mean, you got to think Boots is a hard fight, and guys don't want to get in fights no more where they got to fight a young, hungry guy. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to fight an old, tired veteran like yourself, but to have to fight somebody that got something to prove. Boots Ennis ain't as young as, he ain't 19, 20 years old, but he still got a lot to prove, and he ain't made it to the title and won yet. So he coming out there and he bringing the heat every single time, and he ready. I mean,
uh,
seriously,
and
I
like
think he's ready.
I was telling D Hive, and like I said, we kind of like got back and forth with on Twitter, and I
Okay.
said the guys that'll fight him, which was Bud and Earl,
Mm-hmm.
he was calling for Boots to fight one of them now, and I was like, man, me personally as a pure boxing fan, I don't want to see them fight him before they fight each other, and that ain't got nothing
Oh
to
yeah,
do
yeah,
with
yeah.
Right,
I agree
right,
with you
right,
100% on
yeah,
that.
and that
I agree
and that don't got nothing,
right.
and that don't
Yeah.
have
So
anything
those are
with
the
me.
things.
Yeah, and
Right.
that ain't got nothing to me doing with. I think he gonna beat them and break up the fight. No, my
Mm-mm.
thing about is this is a fight that everybody's been waiting on. This is the pinnacle of probably boxing fights right now. Man,
Absolutely.
don't nobody wanna see that. Even though I think that'd be a good fight. But Boots
Yeah.
is in a situation where he's ready, but now he's got to wait his
He
time
gonna
in the
have to wait
division
his
that
time.
he
Yeah.
in the division that he's in. Because I don't
Yeah.
think Terrence or Earl scared of him. I think
Yeah.
they'll be ready to take him right now. To be honest with you, but they in a situation where look, they got something bigger, and why would they fight?
Yeah.
Like I said, why would either one of them fight? Neither one of them will
No.
make over 8 mil fighting Boots right now.
No. They
But they
both
finna,
need to fight each other. And and
yeah.
and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go on record with it now that I'm on YouTube. This is the second biggest Black American fight since Tyson and Holyfield. I'm talking about event wise. This is the thing Checkmate like talking about undisputed. You got not only the undisputed championship, you got the number one and number two pound for pound best fighters in boxing at this time, whether they deserve
Right.
it or not, fighting each other. And and they both fighting each other, and they haven't had any down performances where you can say, well, one guy is long in the tooth and the other guy isn't. They age is within 2 years of each other. It's time is now. It's now. It's now. And if we get that fight, which I think we will, I mean, man, to me, it's a celebration. It's a celebration, man.
It's
And
a legacy.
it's a
It's
legacy
our
fight,
Hearns
all that. It's
and
all.
Sugar Ray.
And if
So
we get
yeah, and like you said, to me, this is like all undisputeds aren't created equal. Let's be honest.
Right,
Cambosis versus Haney. Come on now. I never
right,
even had
right,
Cambosis in my top five. Even after he
right,
had all the belts, he wasn't a top five to me. And
right.
he's still not a top five. So
Facts.
that wasn't, you know what I mean? So all
Mm-hmm.
again, that's but this is legacy, it's history, it's historic because first of all, it's Bud's second.
Mm-hmm.
Earl's first. And like I said, you got the
Mm-hmm.
top two, 1 and 2. Normally we're facing, you're getting people facing like even the Josh Taylor undisputed. Come on. Jose
Mm-hmm.
Ramirez, nobody had him as a top fighter. You know what I
Mm-mm.
mean? So this is something that we could be able to tell our kids about. So I'm looking forward, and remember, I've been saying this for the last couple of years. I'm waiting for the undisputed. I've been posting it. I've been speaking it into existence. I was like in Vegas at the new Raiders Stadium. You know what I'm saying? People know we need it now. We need it now. We don't want to wait. We need it now. I'm like, well, if you get it now, then all of a sudden you're gonna have Earl. Yeah, I'm gonna say Earl. I said it, baby bird. Listen. So all of a sudden then you'll have Earl fighting Ugas for undisputed. Why would you have such a dramatic drop off? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. When you have other sports, football, basketball,
Timing.
baseball, you have
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you have tournaments and you have playoffs and the best fight the best. They want we want to fight the best now and then celebrate a undisputed against who? It doesn't make any sense. So this is something that's beautiful. This is something we should have got with Wilder versus AJ.
Adrian.
So I'm really excited about it. Remember, I bet Ron Boy. He got me blocked, by the way. So I bet
Me
him that
too.
the fight was going to happen this year. Oh yeah,
Really?
he been had me blocked.
Me
So
too.
when they announced the fight, you let him know so he can give me my $100. Remember, we bet
Okay.
the $100 on your
No,
show, right,
I
baby bird?
remember. I remember.
Right.
Absolutely, I want my $100.
Well,
But
yeah.
I'm excited.
So, yeah, you about to
I'm
be
really excited
$100.
for it. But but listen, on the 147 tip, and I don't mean to piggyback back to the not Connor Ben, but there's so many quality fights at 147, man. It's almost like it's like how 154 was hot. You know what I mean? And when Jamel went through the gauntlet. Now there's so many. You got to stay on. I like standing on this. I don't care what nobody say. That boy can go. I like that dude. Um, like I said, Ellis, woo, Rashidi Ellis, that boy is the goods. Boost. I mean, I'm telling you, this next crop of 147, this new wave that's coming up, man, we're gonna be busy for the next couple of years. We're gonna
and
be
and
getting some
that
great
and
fights.
listen, that ain't even counting guys like Gary Antoine that's gonna be moving up. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a hot
Oh,
division. Also, we talking about the different divisions and things of that nature. 35 would be a lot hotter if I think Shakur just go ahead and move up to 35. Like, to be honest,
he
man,
got two
just
belts to go for undisputed. Let him get his
yeah,
legacy,
but
and then he can move
it's
up.
gonna be a little more difficult for him to get the 130 undisputed because Top
Why?
Rank isn't in control of the titles. They're not in control of the titles, and PBC gonna be held up for a couple months because this fight here, Lamont Roach is gonna get the winner of the 130 fight. So I don't see Shakur hanging around 130 for another year because a lot of people
He,
forget he's having trouble making 130, and he actually looked
he
like
just
a
moved
junior
up.
welter.
My man
Huh?
But my man don't even have 4 fights at 130.
I'm
I don't
telling you,
believe
brother.
in just rushing fighters
I'm,
through.
I'm,
People keep forcing them out because listen. The fact of the matter is they're forcing him out because they want Navarrete and other Mexicans to go ahead and take over the 130
but,
No,
division.
he's
They
been
but,
already
having
got
trouble
him
making that
primed.
weight.
but,
That's just
but
how it
I'm
is.
telling you, though, Chet.
He never said he had problems making the weight.
He
He's
has
He
said
said,
he
admitted
has
that. I don't
problems.
want to say
listen,
He
listen,
hold on a second, checkmate. He has said that he has trouble making 130, and he said his body is almost ready to go to 35. And
well, okay.
but go ahead. I'm listening.
I just saw him on an interview. Just a couple days ago, he did an interview, and he said that he wants to go for undisputed. He said, Bob, when it comes to Lomachenko, oh yeah, go for undisputed. When it comes to Tyson Fury, Josh Taylor, go for undisputed. He said, why don't want
Mhm.
me to go for undisputed? He said it's my choice. This is what I want. He said, I don't care what Bob wants. He said, I get the right to choose to make my decision. He's the
Well,
promoter, but
that's a
I'm the
fact.
fighter. You know what I mean?
That's a
So
fact.
he said. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because of the Muhammad Ali Act, promoters can't force fighters to take a fight. If a fighter bring a to say I want to fight this, the promoter's obligated. The
Oh,
promoters
that's a fact.
promoters nowadays feels like they own a fighter livestock and barrel, and that's just not how it really works. Think about this: most managers you never hear from. You should hear from managers. Managers should wield the power, but in a boxing games, managers have no power. Managers seem to go whatever the promoter go to, but it's supposed to be the other way around. Like Eddie Hearn will say, "So, oh, we work for you, we work for you." That's really how it's supposed to work. But I'm not doing that. Undisputed is stupid. Nobody cares. They're gonna take 12%. You don't need that. But then he'll promote somebody else's undisputed. So what Shakur
Mhm.
said a couple of days ago, like 3 days ago, he said he is going to go for undisputed. And then Eddie Hearn got one of the belts, guys got one of the belts. They said they ready to make that fight. You know what I
Right,
mean? For the three belt unification.
right.
So it's
Yeah.
give the man 4 more fights, and you know what I mean. That's a year and a half, and he can go ahead and move up to 35. But people want
Yeah,
to
I,
move up
I think
without
he's gonna be gone before
fulfilling
then.
his I like when fighters clear divisions. I
I
grew up in
I
an
like
era
it
where
too.
fighters cleared divisions. And I'm
Hmm.
sick of all of this jumping back and forth. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. Maximize your potential, clear your divisions. You know what I mean? Like it says, all undisputed are not equal, but the fact that you were able to say you did that, that's legacy. And that legacy builds on and it adds to your commercial value, obviously adds to your Hall of Fame acronym. But it's just again, it's a legacy. Say I'm the best. No one could say that they did this. You know what I mean? So
And
before he go up to 35, because because Tank said Tank will go down to 130 and fight him. I don't know if you saw the video I put out
I,
with that.
I seen that, and let me say something to Ronnie. Ronnie Bravo, that is true. Promoters do work for the fighters. I think that people enjoy some fans enjoy when Barry Hearn say that this is the plantation because we come from an era.
Release the ball.
Yeah,
Release
we
the
come
ball.
from an era where people enjoy seeing athletes shut up and dribble, shut up and fight, things of that nature. But I will say this, though, checkmate. I don't see Shakur Body holding for another year. And let me say this. He could come up tomorrow and fight for the undisputed lightweight championship. He doesn't have to wait around for a year and a half. Devin will be far gone from it. And then he got to go and fight this guy, that guy. No. I think and let me tell you why I say this. Because I seen Mayweather and y'all gonna and let me go on and do a disclaimer. You're gonna hear me talk like this, and I may bring this same point up another time on a live. But we got Mayweather and Diego Corrales were fighting each other, and they were two pound for pound type fighters. Man, they were 22 and 23 years old. 21 and 22 years old. You had Leonard fighting Hearns at 21, 22 years old. Man, let these guys, I'm ready to see two guys in their prime, in their early 20s fight each other. And if it got to be Shakur and Devin Haney, I want to see Shakur against Devin Haney. Because too many times these guys wait. If they wait a year and a half, Tank Davis going to be almost 30 years old.
Still not gonna
Shakur
fight.
yeah, I'm just saying, Shakur be 26, Devin will be 25. Fight now. I don't want to see Shakur fight. What's the guy, Joe Cordina or whatever you was. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Devin rematch Kambosos. I don't want to see Devin fight Lomachenko. I want to see Devin Haney versus Shakur Stevenson for the undisputed lightweight championship fight in Vegas, New York, wherever you want to put it. That's where I want to see. That's the
You get
best
Tank.
fight to make. And here's the thing: if one of them lose, it ain't the end of the world. You lost an undisputed match to Shakur. You lost an undisputed match to Devin. You still got your entire career ahead. It's one loss. and you're only
But my
23,
brother,
24.
But
Yeah, go ahead.
hold
my
on,
brother, what we, but you're trying to move him on. Everybody else is playing. Like we got to do the tanks. We got to do. The guy's only had 3 fights at 130. Oh, you understand what I'm saying? When you guys
I
don't
don't think
allow
it
these people to let.
matters.
Well, see, to you it don't matter. But if I'm thinking as a fighter, I want to
Hmm.
show you that I'm the best. I want to go ahead and clear this division, and then I can move up. I want
He's
to be able to say. So check this out. So check this out.
okay. Go
We
ahead.
know he could probably. So we know he could probably move up to 140, and eventually he probably move up to 147. Imagine if he could be the guy that had 3 undisputeds and 3 different divisions. You guys, I don't know. You guys just want the fights, but you don't look at. I'm looking at plan. I look at strategy and plan and map this
That's
out, and I
right.
see the bigger picture. So my thing is, all of a sudden he's at 140, and he's been undisputed at 130. He's been undisputed at 135. And come on, this is
How about the
something that
Mayweather issue?
legacies are made from.
How
He
about what
only had.
Floyd Mayweather did? He fought. He went from 130.
But
Fought,
we can't compare. We can't
no, no,
compare
I'm talking. No, I'm not talking about them as fighters. I'm talking about the plan and cleaning out weight divisions.
Okay, but I'm saying
May,
Floyd was fighting 5 times a year as well. So
no, no,
I'm
no, no,
saying we
no,
can't
no.
compare.
At some point, he had stopped, and I'm about to tell you what happened when he went from
Sorry, guys.
30.
I have to hop off for a second because I have
Okay,
to do
all right,
something.
that's
But I didn't
cool.
want to just like hop off.
All right, that's all
yeah,
right. All
Okay.
right. So when he went from 30 to 35, he fought Castillo twice. He fought Victoriano Sosa. So let's say he had 5 or 6 fights at lightweight. When he went to 140, he fought 2 fights. He fought Chop Chop Corley. He fought Arturo Gatti, and he went straight to 47. In my opinion, it to me now this is my opinion, Check. I don't care at what point or at what weight class you fight the top guy, as long as you fight him. And if him and Devin can fight in their early 20s, to me, I love it better because it's no guarantee. Like you say, it's no guarantee. Tomorrow, Devin Haney could fight Joe Blow and get knocked out. It could happen. I've seen it happen where guys get beat up by guys that are lesser than them because they might not have been focused or the guy might hit him with a lucky shot. It happens. Julius wants to see Shakur because he don't have to me, he don't have to prove anything else at junior lightweight if he doesn't want to. He done beat the
He only
top
had
two
three
guys
fights.
at the weight class. He beat the
He
top
only
two
had.
guys.
Well, you said he was top. I didn't. I never thought JoJo was a top. No. Valdez was top. I never considered Valdez himself
Yo,
had just moved up from 126.
no,
So
but I'm
all of these
saying
guys
he
are
was at
jumping
the
weight class.
top.
Wait.
He had won
Let
the
me
top belt. That's what I meant. Mm-hmm.
okay.
hey Julius, yeah.
All of these
I'm about
guys
to
are
be out
jumping
too. I'm
these
about to take
weight
some
classes, but
medication. I'm gonna
they're
be
not.
out, man.
All right, take care, brother. Thank you for coming on, man.
All right, man. When you coming back
All
on?
right, take it easy, Junebug.
Hold on 1 second, check. Well, tomorrow I might do a show. I know I'm gonna be doing a basketball show tomorrow. Um, but I'll probably do a boxing show tomorrow night, brother. I'll send you the
Okay.
link.
All right,
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming on. Hope you feel better too, man.
appreciate it.
All right. All right, go ahead, check. Can you hear me, check?
I hear you now.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
No. See, again, none of these guys cemented themselves in these weight classes.
Right.
Valdez was at 130 for 3 fights max, two or
Right.
3 fights, right? So none of
Mm-hmm.
these guys, they're just. I don't. It just. I get disgusted at that because you can't. Just because you win a belt doesn't mean you established yourself. You
I
know what I
got it.
mean? None of
Uh-huh.
those guys have established themselves as, I cleared out a division. And that's for me, that's my thing about boxing. That's what I've always loved about boxing. I'm not all of this jumping up and down. That has never been my thing. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do it to establish yourself, if you're gonna jump up for great, okay, I'm gonna do this for one fight, like when Floyd first jumped up to 154. We know Floyd wasn't a 154 fighter. He did it, but he still maintained at 147. In fact, when he retired, he actually was 154 and 147 champion at the same time.
Right.
You know what I'm
Simultaneous.
saying?
It's crazy.
Yeah. But my thing is, Valdez is only he only had like 2 fights at 130. Shakur has only had 3 fights at 130. None of them guys had established themselves, and I just like to see, if the division is that easy, just clear it out, get the belts,
Yeah.
and then move up. If
You,
Eddie Hearn's guy has already called out Shakur, got the belt. He
Mhm.
said, "Let's make the fight." So that's one
Right.
belt that's go, and then the next guy, will be for undisputed. So Bob said, "We don't want to see that." Well, who wanted to see
Well,
Cambosos?
well,
Nobody
here's
wanted to
the
see
thing.
Cambosos.
Now the guy Cordina, what's his record like? 11-1, 12-1,
I I don't
12
know
and 0.
anything about him.
So, yeah, it's something like 12-0 with 6 knockouts. Something real light. And this guy ain't been on the scene at all.
So then
So
take the
it
belt.
would be another win against a guy that's not established at the weight class. But I feel where you coming from. I'm just a believer that number one, I like for guys to fight at their weight class. And I feel that Shakur is a 135, 140 pound fighter. That's what I think. I think that you get better performances. Even look at the Ryan Garcia, what we talked about tonight. He looked absolutely great offensively, but his body looked more mature at 140. And I'm tired of seeing guys squeeze down and put on the Weight Watcher belt just to get down in weight, man, to go and fight a guy. And I think that, and again, I love to see great fights like Ronnie Bravo was talking about. Benitez and Leonard was 22 and 23. I would love to see Shakur and Devin fight each other in their early 20s. You know, I understand what you talking about, cleaning out a division. Guys could do that if they fought 3 and 4 times a year, but these guys are normally fighting 2 times a year, so it's
That's the
hard.
problem.
I don't want to keep waiting years to watch a guy beat a bunch of guys that I know he gonna beat. That's another thing. I know he gonna beat this guy, but I gotta wait around 12 months or wait a mandatory and wait this. Some guy get injured, and I'm just sick of it, Check.
But
You know what I'm saying?
that was the same.
Just,
That was the same argument people were using 2 years ago for Earl and Bud. Fight now, fight now. They
well,
didn't even want to
well,
wait for
but here's
undisputed.
the difference, though. It was good fights all around. See, I'm talking about in a division at
I,
130 where it's not many good fights.
no, no, but I understand. But what I'm saying is that
Mhm.
people, as fans tend to like we're selfish because we want what we want. We don't see the
True.
big picture. You know what I mean? We don't see the big picture. All we see is we want this fight now. Well, sometimes if you're setting your grand chessboard, if you're setting, you know what I mean? Well, if I move to this position here, that's taking me away from this lane here. All I'm saying to me is I think fighters should clear that division. Shakur fought, well, he's with 19 and 0 now. He fought uh 16 fights at he fought 16 fights at 126. He fought his the
Well,
last three at
well,
130.
some of those fights were over the limit at 28 and stuff like that. But yeah, I get what you're saying, though. Yeah.
All I'm saying is I know for you the way you see it, you're lasered in on I want Shakur Devin. That's what you see. I want Shakur Devin now. And
We'll
and that's
check this out. We'll never get Devin versus Shakur if Devin, which I think he gonna do, because we know he having trouble making 35. Because he already said he only got probably one more fight at 35. He gonna have to deviate to 140. And bro, you seen all them killers up there at 140.
yeah, I don't know if he can handle the punching power at 140.
That's
See,
why
the
I'm
thing
saying
is,
we might not
well, his
never get
mechanic.
it.
Well, you saying we may not never get it, but that's on Devin. He said he got a nutritionist now, whatever the case may be. But Shakur was adamant a couple days ago. I'll even send you a copy of that the
Mhm.
interview where he said he wants to go for undisputed. And he
And
said he don't care what
I
Bob said.
seen that interview, but then I seen him do another interview, the one he did with Brian Custer, and he was saying that he's ready to move up. His body is telling him that it's time to move up. So I mean, I get it, man. These guys are they say different things on different interviews. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I
Yo,
was going by the Brian Custer interview.
listen, if he moves out to 130, what's at 130? Who's at 130? Like, who's there?
It's really not many, you know. I mean, I'm trying to think what would
There's
be the
nothing.
best fight.
They're going to get what they want. They're going to move Navarrete into that space, and they're going to go ahead and mark. This is what I believe. This is what they want. They want to go ahead and capture that Mexican base there.
Because Bob tried to make that fight with Navarrete. The guy turned the fight down at the 12th hour. You know what I'm saying? Because he know what fight that is.
And he moved from 118 to 122 to one. This guy just moving seems like he fighting 2 fights at each weight class and moving up. You know what I mean?
But he's a bigger guy. He taller than Shakur. So yeah, and that's another thing. Like sometimes we look at it like these guys are fighting 1 and 2 fights at these weight classes. It's because these guys are naturally bigger anyway. They need to stop, like I say, trying to get an advantage. Like I got anyway. Why was he fighting at 108? He was always a 118, 122 fighter. Bam Rodriguez. You're not no 108 fighter. You always a 115, 118 fighter. Like, let's stop it.
But see, listen, and guess what? Guess what they want Anyway to do? They want Anyway to go for undisputed. They're not telling him to move up because they want him to cement his legacy. They want him to clean out our division so they can go ahead and prance that around. So why do we have to, as black fight fans, why do we have to we want us to fight our killer to fight the killers now? To me, the best thing in the world for me to see is Shakur get undisputed at 130 and Devin still got undisputed and they fight each other. Man, that'd be explosive.
Okay, I'm with that. History. I'm with that. If you tell me that Devin's gonna stay at lightweight for another year and a half.
Oh, Devin says he said if the fight is worth it, he will stay. He obviously started talking about staying for Tank. But think about that. If Shakur was able to get undisputed within 4 fights, so he's fighting, within 4 fights. All of a sudden, if we got undisputed 130 versus undisputed 140, 135, man, that would be again. The headlines write themselves.
I agree. That's a bigger fight. But let me say the reason why that I like to see guys fight each other young, and it has nothing to do with belts with me. And it's not because I don't want to see my brothers get the undisputed. A lot of times I know from chess history of me watching this sport that tomorrow's not guaranteed. And, so sometimes the fights that we really want, we won't even get them because of just the way that boxing is. So I like to see, when I think that a fight is ready to be made, I like to see the fight made. Now, I'm in agreement if it's 2 guys and one got 2 titles, one got 1 title, and they're not going to move out of the weight class. If they could get the other fighter out of the way, I'm with that. But in the case of Shakur and Devin, I just think that Devin, and I've seen Shakur come in a little bit over the limit of 30 and then have to lose weight back to it. And I'm just saying, I agree with him when he say that his body. Now, I also agree with him that he want the undisputed, and that Top Rank probably that's not in their plans, because in their plans they want to see him fight Lomachenko. They want Lomachenko to fight either Shakur or Devin. That's just in their plans. But I like to see guys go ahead and fight the best when they have a chance. Unless, like I say, if you got a chance to get undisputed, get it. But if you don't want to get it and you just want to fight the best fighters, then fight it. Undisputed really, to me, became a thing now. It's a thing. It's more of a thing today than it was when I first became, a great boxing fan. Guys didn't clamor for undisputed in the 80s. They didn't clamor for undisputed in the 90s or even in the early 2000s. You know what they clamored for then? Pound for pound. Like, go back and listen to all the interviews. Whitaker, Roy Jones, Mayweather, De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad, all those guys talked more. Bernard Hopkins, they talked about undisputed. Excuse me. They talk more about pound for pound. I want to be rated as pound for pound. I'm going to take this fight for being pound for pound. They talk more pound for pound talk than they did undisputed talk. So I guess that shifted my head to thinking more about just fighting the best if you can than going for undisputed. Undisputed, like you say, is rated different. But I get where you're saying for Shakur and Devin to fight. If Shakur gets the 130 undisputed and fights the undisputed at 135, that's history. You got one undisputed versus another undisputed. And I can't say that I've seen that in my lifetime. So you're right. But I still rather see him fight now. But go ahead.
Because whether it's Devin or Tank, once Shakur get undisputed, whether it's Devin or Tank, he's gonna fight for undisputed at 135 if he moves up. That's guaranteed. He's a high commodity, whatever the case may be. So to me, I just feel like the best should always fight the best. But unfortunately, the reason why you just there's a lot of ducking, there's a lot of promotional things, there's a lot of network things. That's the reason why we didn't see a lot of it in our days. Now, these pound for pound lists are biased, they're racist. I mean, they got you know what I mean? They got a 3 black boxer maximum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's new school too, bro. That's new school with that stuff. Right, but yes.
The Dougie Fish, you're right. What Dougie Fish and all of them are doing, but ESPN is doing the same thing. And so I don't even draw pound for pound. I despise them because it's all it is. Pound for pound list. It's a marketing tool. When you look at ESPN lists, more than half, at least half of their list is going to be their fighters. Okay, so all they're doing is marketing and promote their fight. Now, what does that do? Those pound for pound lists influence the judges. They influence the ref. They influence the fans. They influence the sponsors. They influence the belt orgs. You know what I mean? They influence so many by being on that fictitious pound for pound. None of these guys agree with each other. So they come up with a consensus. Oh, you got this point for this person. Like Steve Kent was voting anyway #1 pound for pound the last 6 years. Okay? So
that's
understand
crazy.
how this works. So and then you got these guys now they're talking about they all of a sudden threw Bam Bam and pound for beating an old faded no defense slow robotic sore. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is the biggest, and they even rated him. They say, oh, that was the so far of the year at the half year mark. That's the best fight so far. Hell no! You guys forget what Jamel Charlo did. You forget the competition he was fighting.
Yeah.
You forget the dramatics of that fight.
Yes.
You forget how they they had a draw the first fight. That would to me again, Jamel.
Hey, shout out to Jamel Charlo too, man. We don't talk enough. And because he got a little MAGA issue sometimes, we don't really give him the props that he deserves. So I'm glad you said that. And Jamel, you're going to get some props on this show for what you've done the last couple of years because you've been the epitome of cleaning out a division. So I'm going to give you the props at that. You know what I'm saying? That brother has done he took on all comers, changed trainers because Ronnie Shields is a good trainer, but he went to Derek James, and I'm gonna tell you this, I'm gonna tell you this, checkmate. Not try to make this big point, but I gotta say this. Derek James is a great coach because he give you belief in yourself. Because he told Jamel, just because you've been out boxing people, you can knock them out. I believe you can knock them out. Where Ronnie Shields told him, hey man, if you ain't got to go for the knockout, just outbox him. And so we got to shout out Derek James on that and Jamel Charlo for being a dynamic team, man, where, you can't tell a guy that something that they can't do if they believe in themselves, man. So shout out to Jamel Charlo, man.
Absolutely, he proved. But again, this goes back to show you on these racist lists. Why isn't Jamel? Think about this. When T.O. got those belts from Loma, they made him number 5 pound for pound.
Off one win.
Off one win. They made a 16-0, 12 KO guy number 5 pound for pound.
Off one fight. Right.
Off of one win. Off a guy
Mm-hmm.
who had already lost. Off a guy who had struggled against Luke Campbell. Struggled
Mm-hmm.
got the Panda Eyes versus Pedraza. Struggled in Floyd versus Linares. You know what I mean? Again, losses, Salido. You know what I mean? So all of the you gave this guy pound for pound number 5, but yet you got to debate whether Jamel Charlo, who truly cleared the divisions against beast, against guys that you thought he couldn't beat. They thought he wasn't going to beat what's the Dominican guy,
Rosario.
Everybody was saying Rosario's going to beat him. Rosario's going to beat him. He's a bigger, he's strong. He's going to beat him. Guess what he did to Rosario?
Destroyed.
Now you have nothing to say. Absolutely. Yeah. So, Castaño beat him. He got a gift. It wasn't a draw. He's going to beat him this time. He knocked him out like I predicted he did. What are you going to do? Mm-hmm. Oh, so you got to debate. Well, who are we going to move off the pound for pound list, guys? How are we going to move him in? It ain't how are we going to move him in. What is Tyson Fury doing on your pound for pound list when you guys were saying that Wilder wasn't shit anyway? You guys saying well, Wilder was sorry. So all of a sudden, how does Tyson Fury jump on your pound for pound? Okay, and then so then we talk about Usyk. Okay, Usyk was on pound for pound for beating nobodies that you even heard of. That they don't even talk about any of the fighters that Usyk beat at cruiserweight. They don't talk about it. But guess what? He automatically jumped in pound for pound. But the guys that Jamel Charlo beat, you knew who they were. You know what I mean? You knew they were scrappers. But yet you got to debate whether this guy makes your pound for pound list. You know
what I mean? the Jamel Charlo hate is kind of mind-boggling to me because people always say they want guys to fight the best, and he's been fighting the best for years now, and he still don't get the credit. And I can understand if you don't want to rate him as an all-time great because the junior middleweight division, man, was a monster division. I'm talking about marvelous fighters, but he ain't got to fight Tito Trinidad. He doesn't have to fight Terry Norris. You get what I'm saying? He doesn't have to fight one of the all-time greats at 54. He has to fight the guys today. And today he is himself as a top pound-for-pound fighter of today. And he's undisputed. And he has to get that respect. And if he beat Tim Tszyu, that means that not only has he beat everybody, now he beating all comers. You know what I'm saying? He taking on all comers and beating them. Now, I will say this, Chet. I think after he beats Tszyu when they fight in December or January, I think it was January, I fully expect him to probably vacate a title or two because, the 12% you was talking about, guys ain't going to be defending 12% each time. Like they'll do it for undisputed and maybe a defense, but after that, that's it. So I expect him to relinquish the belt by after then.
That's how it should work. I think when you undisputed, first of all, I would probably defend maybe once, twice, 3 times max, and then I drop some belts. And guess what? If I feel like I'm that dude, I'm going to win them all over again. I'm going to be 2-time undisputed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'll make it easier for me. Yeah, I'll get a defense, drop a belt, and guess what? See you in 2 fights. You know what I'm saying? Boom, I'm 2-time undisputed. So I mean, Jamel Charlo has proven he has the skill. Everything that he did in the second fight is what he should have done in the first fight. But there were so many different variables why he wasn't properly prepared for the first fight.
Right.
First big stage, he was overwhelmed. He was partying. He was just wasn't focused. He was, you know what I mean. And I said, this guy needs to stay off the ropes. He needs to do X, Y, Z. Everything that I felt he should do, he did it, and he maximized it. He countered effectively. You know what I mean? Instead of letting him get off, and again, he showed that he was the better fighter. And not only he showed he was the better fighter, he showed from his skill. He is a pound for pound as far as skill. You guys, they still guys on the list. I can't never even get to the list. Never even get to the list.
Check, you going in and out.
Yeah, so they got these guys on these lists that don't belong there. Jamel proved skill for skill that again, uh, when he fought Tony Harrison, I thought he won the first fight. They gave it
I
to Tony
did too.
Harrison. Okay, fine, he rematched him. But Tony Harrison is an excellent boxer. He just don't have a chin. Okay,
That's
but
true.
what he showed is he can overcome that obstacle of that excellent boxer, and he can show he can his own skills, and he did what he had to do. So these writers, again, these aren't right. These guys are
Fire.
comic book collectors.
Right.
You know what I mean? These guys aren't fighters. These guys aren't athletes. Why should anybody take their word for anything? Why should you openly take and take someone who's openly racist and biased? Why should you allow their opinion to matter? And why should you argue their list? That's why I don't even talk about it. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So
I agree. Yeah, and I don't personally make pound for pound lists myself
I
either.
can't
Not
do it.
only do
I
I
can't
not
do it.
discuss it, but I don't
I
even
do
make
my
it.
favorite. I make my favorites list. These are my
Right.
favorite fives. These are guys I like. I don't
Right.
even eliminate. No. These are my.
Yeah.
I got my list. If you go to my page, it's right
Yeah.
there.
It's my
These are my
crew.
favorite fighters.
Right.
Absolutely. These are the fighters I respect. I respect their skill, and I think again, all these guys are going to going to definitely be making some waves from for some time to come. So that's my thing.
Look.
I didn't. If you know me, Julius, I don't jump on a bandwagon. I am not one of those guys. I will go. I don't care about the grain. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm anti. I'll go against it. I am anti groupthink mentality.
Right.
So I
You
just
are definitely. But look, check. We gonna check out of here tonight, man. Hey, I appreciate you, man, coming up here, brother. I appreciate it, man. And look, when I do a Lakers discussion, you got to come back. But I want you to come back anyway, man. So we break down these fights and everything. All right.
Yeah, like I said, the other two I was out kind of late, so I did wasn't even available when you was going live. So I'm sorry I missed the
Oh
first
no,
one.
that's all good, man. Because I was just trying, kind of working the kinks out. Then I mean, I just, matter of fact, loaded it to YouTube.
Okay.
This was like my first, official, YouTube. This was my YouTube debut, live. So
Okay.
hopefully, people out there subscribe. Definitely subscribe to the channel, man, and help support a brother out here, man. And thank you. Appreciate it, though, checkmate.
All right, my brother.
Appreciate everybody that listened to tonight. Y'all take care out there.